got locked down that young 6th grade Allie decided to start a new TV show series to obsess over. And what better show than AMC's 12-season zombie series, The Walking Dead. As I embarked on my journey and got to binging, I experienced a whirlwind of emotion in all stages of grief. And not only did I develop a crush on Daryl Dixon and Negan Smith, I developed an intense fear of zombies. Mindless, emaciated, and dangerous as they lose themselves and exhibit abnormal behavior. And although zombies aren't real, this is the scary reality for a growing number of animals in the deer family. Chronic wasting disease constitutes an outstanding threat to certain populations, causing damaging economic effects on agricultural and hunting industries. Today, I'd like to inform you all about this fatal disease and the many influences that cervids, or members of the deer family, have on captive cervid farming industries, as well as the hunting industry. Chronic wasting disease is a fatal neurological disorder that affects animals or in the cervidae family, like deer, elk, moose, reindeer, or muntjac. CWD is dissimilar to the majority of all infectious diseases. Rather than being caused due to a virus or a bacteria, it is caused by prions. Prions are misfolded proteins that, when incorrectly folded, attack the nervous system and kill brain cells. CWD is part of the transmissible spongiform encephalopathy group, also known as Brion's disease. There are many different types of TCEs, such as bovine spongiform encephalopathy, also known as mad cow disease, scrapie that affects sheep, and in humans, Creutzfeldt-Jakob's disease. And although very similar to these other TCEs, CWD only affects cervids. Notably, CWD is highly contagious and has shown decreases in deer herds of about 10 to 40% over 10 to 20-year periods. As this disease progresses, animals will experience weight loss and many different types of changes in behavior. Animals will begin to eat less amounts of food, causing a loss of body conditions, and they will excessively drink, urinate, and drool. CWD-infected animals display strange behaviors such as incoordination, a wide posture, head tremors, lowering of the head and ears, a loss of fear of humans, and may walk in repeated patterns like circles. A deer may display these symptoms anywhere from a few weeks to several months until they ultimately die. Once an animal has contracted CWD, it is fatal and they will die. In general, CWD is a huge threat to deer and other cervids that cause death and contribute to herd population loss. Furthermore, chronic wasting disease causes many economic challenges for cervid farms due to how easily transmissible this disease is and the resistance to inactivation. Cervid farming has various purposes, and it is a topic of ethical debate, but regardless, it provides almost $8 billion in the U.S. economy and provides thousands of jobs. As I previously mentioned, prions are what cause CWD, but how does deer get it? Well, chronic wasting disease is spread by direct animal-to-animal contact to prion agents or indirect contact with a contaminated item in their environment. CWD prion agents are shed by cervids through bodily fluids, whether that be into the environment or onto another animal. And one thing to note is that prions are scarily resistant to being broken down. And in one study, focusing on incineration, TCE prion material did not inactivate until temperatures reached 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And once the prions have been established in an environment, it is impossible to get it out. Something that I find quite terrifying is that these animals can be sick without displaying any symptoms anywhere from 18 to 24 months. And during this time period, they'll be infecting everyone in their surrounding herds and into the environment whilst looking and acting completely normal. Because of this, captive cervids are commonly infected when they are unknowingly introduced to a purchased cervid with CWD. Farms will also contract the disease from surrounding wild deer or elk, or simply just from the environment. Once an animal has contracted CWD on a farm, the whole population of deer or cervids must be culled, and the production and raising of cervids will be prohibited for 5 years. This causes financial loss for the farm and its workers. Along with this, costly biosecure practices to ensure that wild animal populations do not come into contact with cervids are put in place. Overall, CWD can eliminate deer farming production, causing the loss of many jobs, and biosecure practices fighting the disease increase operational costs. Lastly, There are many effects that CWD could have on the hunting industry. Most notably, the increase in CWD cases can cause a decline in the hunting economy, reducing jobs and animal management practices. You see, chronic wasting disease was first discovered in captive mule deer here in Colorado's Rocky Mountains in 1967. And since then, it has spread to 34 states, 4 provinces in Canada, Finland, Norway, Sweden, and even South Korea. As this disease spreads, CWD has the power to significantly affect hunting economies. Yearly, the hunting market amounts to $86.9 billion in the U.S. economy at around 680,000 jobs. It fears about CWD regulations and cervid population loss ultimately decrease the hunting of cervids. It will decrease state, local, and business revenue. Businesses relying on hunting travel, hunting equipment, animal processing, and more will lose revenue without the participation of hunters. Not only this, but the decrease in animal hunting licenses and tag purchases will impact the budgets of natural resource agencies. A conservationist by the name of Doug Duron with Meat Eater said in his article that big game species are like the most popular college sport at a university. Specific sport programs will be the highest profile, and the funds earned from ticket and merchandise sales will fund the entire athletic department, funding the less popular sports. If big game species are widely affected by CWD, how will smaller game species be managed by natural resource agencies? And how will they afford to pay for CWD research and management? This nasty disease causes tons of negative outcomes and relating to revenue loss for businesses and budget decreases of natural resource agencies. In conclusion, chronic wasting disease doesn't just threaten our world's cervid populations, but it threatens the economy of many different industries, particularly threatening the livelihoods dependent on hunting and cervid farming, as well as the funding for game management and CWD research and control. Now, before I scare anybody, or if I already have, I'd like to inform you all that research has shown that CWD is not transmissible to humans. But that doesn't mean we should not be aware of its damaging effects and its significance in our world. And while chronic wasting disease may be different from the Walking Dead zombie virus, it definitely does not ease my fears about its potential effects on our communities and economies, or even zombies themselves. Thank you.